He was spotted on the roof multiple times before firing his rifle, but yet he was still able to line up a near-perfect shot on the former president. New evidence of Secret Service oversights, drone flight logs, and ammunition purchases are beginning to paint a very disturbing picture of what happened on that day. So how did this young man evade the most skilled snipers in the Secret Service? Is it incompetence, or does the new evidence point to a possible cover-up?
Chaos, heroism, and tragedy. The assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump on July 13, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, sent shockwaves across the nation. Just after 6 p.m., the scene at the presidential campaign rally erupted into chaos. Within seconds, shots rang out, and Trump was seen grabbing his right ear before dropping to the ground. The Secret Service agents swiftly moved in, guiding Trump away from the danger. Despite the chaos, Trump defiantly raised his fist and was seen mouthing the words, "Fight, fight." Fortunately, the shooter did not go free. Rally attendees' frantic cell phone video captured the shooter positioned with what appears to be an AR-15-style rifle, opening fire from a rooftop less than 150 meters from where Trump was speaking. Panic and chaos spread through the crowd as people screamed and scrambled for cover. In a dramatic turn, a Secret Service sniper, positioned nearby, aimed and neutralized the threat with a single, precise shot. However, the immediate aftermath was tragic. A 50-year-old volunteer fire chief, Corey Comparatore, lost his life while heroically protecting his family. As bullets flew, Corey instinctively dove onto his loved ones, shielding them from the attack. In a subsequent news conference, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro hailed Comparatore as a hero. "Corey died a hero," Shapiro stated, noting Corey's dedication to his community and his unwavering commitment to his family. Most especially, Corey loved his family, Shapiro added. Allison Comparatore, Corey's daughter, later took to social media to express her grief and admiration for her father's bravery. "He truly loved us enough to take a real bullet for us, and I want nothing more than to cry on him and tell him thank you," she wrote. Allison described her father as the best dad a girl could ever ask for, and remembered his ability to make friends with anyone. Corey had been an avid Trump supporter and had eagerly attended the rally, excited to see the former president in person. The violent episode also left 2 others seriously injured. David Dutch, a 57-year-old from New Kensington, Pennsylvania, sustained severe injuries, including liver damage and broken ribs. A longtime employee of the technology company Siemens, Dutch underwent multiple surgeries. His sister, Jennifer Very Grazier, described him as a dedicated Trump supporter and a resilient fighter in the face of adversity. James Copenhaver, a 74-year-old from Moon Township, Pennsylvania, was another casualty of the attack. A registered Democrat, Copenhaver had recently become deeply involved in local politics. He was known for his dedication to the community, serving as Moon Township's Military Banner Committee member, which organized tributes for local veterans. Albert Quay, a supervisor in Moon Township, reflected on Copenhaver's active participation in civic affairs and his commitment to honoring military service members. Former President Trump, grazed by a bullet on his upper ear, later addressed the media. He recounted the harrowing experience, mentioning that a slight movement of his head could have resulted in a fatal injury. Despite the close call, Trump remained resolute and unwavering in his resolve to continue his campaign. Shortly following the incident, news reporters quickly gathered around an eyewitness who had noticed something unusual. Greg Smith, a local resident, witnessed a man crawling bear-like on top of a building just outside the event in Butler County on Saturday evening. As Mr. Smith listened from outside the rally, he spotted the gunman approximately 5 minutes into Trump's speech. Realizing the potential danger, Mr. Smith immediately tried to alert the authorities. For 3 to 4 tense minutes, he pointed out the gunman to the police, but his efforts seemed futile. They probably couldn't see the gunman because of the slope of the roof, he explained. Frustrated and alarmed, he questioned the security measures in place. Why is there no Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place. It's a security failure. 100% security failure. Anthony Guglielmi, a Secret Service spokesman, later confirmed the incident, stating that agents had neutralized the shooter and quickly responded with protective measures. The crowd, once charged with excitement for the rally, was left in a state of shock. The shooter identified. In a high-stakes investigation, law enforcement faced a mystery: a dead suspect without any identification. The only clue? A single crucial piece of evidence: DNA. With advanced forensic technology at their disposal, investigators meticulously analyzed the genetic material. Their efforts paid off when they uncovered a match, revealing the suspect's identity as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. A day after the tragic incident, investigators started examining the background of Crooks, the suspect in what authorities are now calling an attempted assassination. It's still unclear how the 20-year-old managed to get close enough to shoot at Trump from a nearby rooftop with an AR-15-style rifle. The FBI reported that he acted alone. Police were heavily present in Bethel Park, Crooks' hometown, which is about an hour from the rally location. Born on September 20, 2003, Crooks was raised in a seemingly ordinary middle to upper middle class neighborhood, where his parents both worked as licensed professional counselors. Records show that Crooks's family has owned a 3-bedroom brick house there in Bethel Park since 1998. Matthew and Mary Crooks are listed as the owners, who are likely his parents. Attempts to reach them by phone on the night of the incident were unsuccessful. Dean Circa, who lives a few houses away, has been familiar with Crooks and his family for years. Dean's daughter attended school with Crooks from elementary through high school, and she recalls him as a quiet and reserved individual. Dean and his daughter often saw Crooks walking to work at least once a week. "This is a real shock," Dean said. "The Crooks family has always been very friendly and nice." Others who knew Crooks painted a mixed picture of his personality and life. He was a bright student at Bethel Park High School, excelling in academics and earning a place in the National Technical Honor Society in 2021. Jason Kohler, who went to Bethel Park High School with Crooks, recalled that the 20-year-old often ate lunch alone and was bullied almost every day. Kohler described how Crooks was frequently targeted by other students, adding that he would sit by himself while others picked on him. "Kids picked on Crooks for wearing camouflage to class and for being quiet," said Kohler. Since learning that Crooks is the shooter, Kohler has been talking with classmates who knew him, and most are still in shock. "It's really hard to wrap your head around," he said. Sean Eckert, who went to school with Crooks from 5th through 12th grade, described him as always going by Tom. They were classmates in elementary and middle school. Eckert noted that Crooks was fairly smart, but kept to himself and rarely spoke up. Eckert mentioned that Crooks didn't seem to have many friends. He didn't remember Crooks participating in sports or attending popular school events. Crooks often wore hunting clothes, leading Eckert to assume he was into hunting. Eckert said that no one in his high school group chat knew Crooks well. They were stunned that someone from their town could do something like this, and even more so, that it was Tom Crooks. Graduating with high honors in 2022, he received a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative, highlighting his exceptional talent in mathematics and science. School officials maintained that records showed no disciplinary issues involving Crooks, portraying him as a generally well-behaved student who got along with his teachers and peers. Crooks had a variety of interests outside of academics. He enjoyed playing chess and video games, and was actively learning computer programming. He attended a computer technology program at the Steele Center for Career and Technical Education, demonstrating his interest in technology and engineering. However, some students alleged that Crooks had tried out for the school's rifle team but failed due to poor aim, a claim the Bethel Park School District denies, stating there are no records of such an attempt. After high school, Crooks continued to pursue his education, earning an associate degree in engineering science from the Community College of Allegheny County just 2 months before the tragic incident. At the time, he was employed as a dietary aide at a local nursing home, where he had passed a background check and performed his duties without raising any concerns. He had been accepted into both the University of Pittsburgh and Robert Morris University, with plans to attend the latter. The gaming-focused online platform Discord announced that it had discovered an account linked to the shooting suspect. According to a statement from a Discord spokesperson, the account was rarely used, hadn't been active for months, and there was no evidence suggesting it was used to plan the shooting, promote violence, or discuss political opinions. The spokesperson assured that Discord would work closely with law enforcement to aid the investigation. Thomas Crooks was a member of the Clairton Sportsman's Club, located about 8 miles from his home. The club covers a vast 180-acre area and features various facilities, including rifle, pistol, and archery ranges, a dog training area, and a clubhouse, as detailed on the club's website. Robert Boutte III, an attorney for the club, confirmed Crooks' membership. This involvement hints at a deeper familiarity with firearms, despite the claim of failing the rifle team tryout. The tragic shooting, which shocked the nation, left many grappling with questions about Crooks' motives and the factors leading up to this violent act. His background, marked by academic success and social challenges, paints a complex picture of a young man whose actions on that fateful day remain difficult to reconcile with the quiet, bright student many thought they knew. As the investigation unfolded, the nation watched closely, seeking to understand the deeper issues at play and to find answers that might prevent such tragedies in the future. Chilling details and disturbing patterns. In the aftermath of the shocking assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, unsettling details continue to emerge about the suspected shooter, Crooks, and his chilling preparations leading up to the attack. Crooks, whose life took a dark turn, was seen making disturbing preparations just days before the incident. On July 5th, he visited the Clairton Sportsman's Club, where he honed his marksmanship on the rifle range. His visit was no casual outing. It was a calculated move, coming as he bought ammunition both online and in-store. His meticulous planning extended to his work life as well. He requested a day off from his job at a local nursing home, promising to return the next day, a gesture that now appears to be a part of his sinister plot. The following day, his online activity revealed a disturbing pattern. Crooks scoured the internet for images and public appearances of high-profile figures, including Trump, President Joe Biden, Attorney General Merrick Garland, FBI Director Christopher A. Wray, and even Catherine, Princess of Wales. His searches also included significant events and people linked to them, such as the Democratic National Convention and Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley. These searches, coupled with his review of information on major depressive disorder, paint a troubling picture of his mindset and motivations. On July 6th, the same day Crooks registered for the rally, his online searches included a reference to Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin of former President John F. Kennedy, suggesting he was drawing parallels to his own plot. Further searches revealed an obsession with security and high-profile targets, including power plants and the attempted assassination of Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico. His use of aliases and encrypted communication to acquire firearm supplies and bomb-making materials suggest the sophistication and premeditation of his plan. On the fateful day of the assassination attempt, an unsettling series of events unfolded that would forever etch the name Crooks into the annals of criminal history. That morning, Crooks approached his father with a seemingly harmless request to borrow his AR-15-style rifle for a day at the shooting range. Given that Crooks had previously used the gun for target practice, his father, unsuspecting of any ill intentions, handed over the weapon without a second thought. However, Crooks had far more sinister plans in mind. According to ABC News, after securing the rifle, he made a stop at a local gun shop where he purchased 50 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition that would soon become a chilling part of his plan. His next errand took him to Home Depot, where he bought a 5-foot ladder. While the ladder's role remains a mystery, as it was never found at the scene and didn't seem to be used for accessing the roof, it adds a mysterious element to his meticulous preparation. Crooks then drove to Butler, Pennsylvania, where a Trump rally was in full swing. He parked his vehicle at a gas station, roughly a third of a mile from the rally, blending in with the crowd. For over an hour before the attack, he was seen wandering near the rally area. Surveillance footage obtained by Pittsburgh ABC affiliate WTAE captured him pacing restlessly just beyond the rally's boundaries at 5:06 p.m., about an hour and 5 minutes before the first shots rang out. Minutes before the shooting, Crooks was spotted near the rally's magnetometers, his suspicious behavior drawing the attention of some witnesses. Despite their concerns, he managed to slip past unnoticed. Determined and methodical, Crooks made his way to a nearby building, using air conditioner units to ascend to its roof. From this vantage point, he moved to an even taller building adjacent to it, positioning himself for a strategic advantage. As the rally continued, Crooks prepared for what he had meticulously planned. The chilling calm before the storm was abruptly shattered when shots were fired, sending shockwaves through the event and sparking a frantic search for the perpetrator. Crooks' carefully orchestrated plan, marked by calculated purchases and stealthy maneuvers, culminated in a moment of horror that would leave an indelible mark on the community and the nation. Motive and mystery. The FBI is currently investigating Crooks, but his motives remain unclear. Authorities have not yet determined whether his attempt to assassinate former President Trump was influenced by his political beliefs. However, the Butler County Coroner's Office in Pennsylvania has released a brief yet chilling update on Crooks' death. The coroner's report, while sparse, reveals the gravity of the situation and raises numerous questions about the chain of events that led to the tragic conclusion. On July 13th, at precisely 6:25 p.m., the man identified as Crooks was found dead from a single gunshot wound to the head. Coroner William Young has officially classified the cause of death as a homicide. This revelation comes amidst a cloud of mystery, as Butler County has refused to release the full autopsy report, citing state laws that exempt such documents from public disclosure. As a result, crucial details, such as whether Crooks was tested for chemicals or medications, remain unknown. The timeline of Crooks' actions paints a dramatic picture of an individual bent on violence. The FBI reported that local police first recognized Crooks as a person of interest shortly after 5 p.m. on the day of the shooting. This identification occurred more than an hour before the actual shooting took place, raising serious concerns. By 5:30 p.m., the situation took a more alarming turn. SWAT operators observed Crooks using a rangefinder and browsing news websites on his phone, an indication of meticulous planning. At 5:56 p.m., he was spotted with a backpack, which would later play a significant role in his criminal endeavor. Despite this mounting evidence, it wasn't until Crooks began climbing HVAC piping outside the warehouse that the situation escalated further. Witnesses reported that he traversed multiple rooftops, eventually reaching his intended shooting position. Rally attendees, alarmed by Crooks' suspicious behavior, promptly alerted security and local police. Unfortunately, Their warnings seemed to fall on deaf ears. At 6:11 p.m., a local police officer was finally positioned on the roof after being boosted up by colleagues. The officer, upon spotting Crooks, was forced to quickly drop to the ground and narrowly avoided detection. The sequence of events reached its climax when Crooks fired 8 rounds at the former president, as reported by CBS News. Within 25 to 30 seconds of the shooting, Crooks was neutralized by a counter-sniper who acted decisively to prevent any further threat. The entire episode, marked by its dramatic tension and ultimate violence, raises serious questions about the preparedness and response of local authorities. The U.S. Secret Service finds itself under intense scrutiny following the failed assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The shocking incident has not only raised questions about the agency's preparedness, but also exposed critical oversights that allowed the gunman to fire from a rooftop without detection. On the fateful day of the rally, the Secret Service was supposed to be at the height of vigilance. Instead, they were blindsided by an attack that could have been avoided. The gunman, identified as managed to infiltrate the area and set up on a rooftop with an assault rifle, all while law enforcement and security personnel were in the dark about the imminent threat. Even though law enforcement had flagged Crooks as a suspicious individual earlier that day, the Secret Service's response was alarmingly inadequate. Agents were aware of Crooks's presence, but were reportedly misled by initial assessments that suggested he was merely carrying a rangefinder, a piece of equipment used for measuring distances, often associated with hobbies like hunting or photography. Crucially, they did not recognize him as a potential threat armed with an assault rifle. As Trump prepared to take the stage, the situation seemed under control. Secret Service agents were led to believe that Crooks was not a danger. According to the agency, Crooks was not actively making threats. This false sense of security tragically left the former president exposed to a direct and life-threatening attack. However, the story took a darker turn when a local tactical team sniper, deployed to provide additional security, captured a photograph of Crooks moments before the shooting. The image revealed Crooks peering through a rangefinder, but it did not immediately reveal the assault rifle he had brought along. The presence of the rifle was missed by the Secret Service and local law enforcement, despite the photo clearly showing Crooks's suspicious behavior and positioning. The FBI's subsequent identification of Crooks added another layer of complexity to the investigation. Following the identification, CBS News and other outlets reviewed public records that revealed that Crooks was a registered Republican who had previously made a $15 donation to a Democratic organization via Act Blue. This revelation did not fit neatly into partisan narratives and left investigators grappling with questions about his motives. The donation, made on January 20th, 2021, the day of President Biden's inauguration, was particularly troubling. At the time, Crooks was only 17 years old, thus not eligible to vote or register as a Republican. The discrepancy led to a surge of misinformation on social media, with some users falsely claiming that Crooks was a different individual entirely. The confusion was worsened by errors in the Federal Election Commission records, which inaccurately listed Crooks' address as being in Pittsburgh rather than Bethel Park, where he actually lived. As the investigation continues, the Secret Service faces mounting criticism for its failures. The agency's oversight in not recognizing Crooks as a threat, combined with the local law enforcement's inability to properly assess the situation, highlights severe lapses in security protocols. Conspiracy theories. In the aftermath of the attempted assassination, conspiracy theories, rumors, and false information rapidly flooded social media platforms like Facebook and X, captivating users across the political spectrum. Within mere hours, various theories began to emerge, each more outlandish than the last. One account claimed that Trump had faked his injury using a blood pill. This post gained immense traction, garnering 3 million views just hours after the incident. The rapid spread of such misinformation showcased the volatile nature of social media in amplifying baseless claims. When the shots were fired at the rally, Trump was seen clutching the side of his face, blood visibly streaming from his ear. He later stated that the bullet had grazed his ear, a near miss that many believed was a close call. However, skeptics online quickly suggested otherwise. They argued that Trump's actions post-shooting indicated a staged event. An X account with over 160,000 followers claimed that Trump's raised fist while being escorted by Secret Service agents was evidence of a ruse. Further fueling the fire, a self-identified 60-year-old Democrat and self-proclaimed non-conspiracy theorist asserted, without evidence, that Trump would do anything to avoid prison, including staging an assassination attempt. NewsGuard, a news rating service, reported a significant spike in the use of the word staged on X the day of the assassination attempt. Within 24 hours, mentions of the word surged to over 300, a staggering 3,924% increase from the previous 2 days. Alongside this, a contradicting conspiracy theory emerged, blaming Democrats and President Joe Biden for the shooting. Amid the frenzy, questions arose regarding Secret Service protocols and apparent lapses. Some posts questioned how the shooter managed to access a roof 400 feet from Trump, suggesting an inside job. These theories even found traction among some federal, state, and local officials, highlighting the pervasive nature of these unfounded claims. Interestingly, Trump has so far chosen a path of moderation in his public response. Rather than fueling the fire with his typical polarizing rhetoric, he has called for unity and emphasized the importance of not allowing evil to win. This uncharacteristic call for peace has left many wondering whether the near-death experience has shifted his perspective. Historically, Trump has thrived on conspiracy theories and divisive messaging, so his restraint is notable. However, it remains to be seen whether he will continue to discourage his supporters from engaging in conspiracy-driven violence or revert to his old tactics. The attack on Trump was a tragedy that nearly became one of the darkest days in American history. It also serves as an inflection point for the current presidential race and the broader political landscape. Both the current and former presidents have a critical role to play in de-escalating tensions and ensuring that peace and decency prevail. Their actions in the coming days and weeks will be crucial in determining whether this incident marks the beginning of a more dangerous period or a turning point towards greater unity and stability in American politics. Lawmakers demand answers. Members of Congress are expressing frustration and dissatisfaction with the lack of substantive information provided in federal briefings regarding the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Among the most vocal is Representative Greg Lopez, a Republican from Colorado, who rated the briefing he attended a dismal 1 out of 10. Lopez's discontent stems from a briefing held via conference call on Wednesday, July 14th, attended by representatives from the FBI, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. Despite the gravity of the situation, the call lasted less than 30 minutes and, according to Lopez, provided little insight into the progress or findings of the investigation. "It felt purposely vague," Lopez remarked, expressing his frustration with the federal law enforcement leader's reluctance to discuss the shooter's potential motive. Lopez compared the situation to past instances of elusive investigations, notably the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting, where authorities never determined a clear motive. "They reminded us that they never found a motive for the Vegas shooter," Lopez recounted, drawing a parallel to the assassination of President Kennedy, suggesting that crucial information might be deliberately withheld. "It's like someone knows, but they don't want to share anything," he said. Further amplifying the call for transparency, Senator Rick Scott, a Republican from Florida, sent a pointed letter to President Joe Biden demanding more openness. Scott's letter included numerous questions he wanted answered and called for daily public press conferences by the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Secret Service. There is a lot of information out there, some real and some not. And when there's a lack of transparency, people naturally assume the worst, Scott wrote. Scott emphasized the need for the Biden administration to keep Trump, Congress, and the public informed. Now is the time for absolute transparency and accountability, he urged. The plea from Scott underscores a broader concern among many lawmakers that the investigation is being shrouded in unnecessary secrecy, fostering speculation and distrust. As the investigation continues, the dissatisfaction among Congress members highlights a critical need for federal agencies to balance the integrity of their investigations with the public's right to be informed. The pressure is mounting on federal authorities to provide clearer, more detailed updates as the nation awaits answers regarding the attempt on Trump's life. Biden calls for unity. Following the tragic incident, in an Oval Office address, President Joe Biden called for a much-needed cooling of America's political climate. Biden's 6-minute address struck a chord as he emphasized the critical need for unity and respect among Americans, regardless of political differences. Biden expressed relief at the former president's recovery and extended his condolences to the family of the deceased rally-goer. The gravity of the situation underscored Biden's message. Political disagreements should not escalate into violence. In his address, Biden warned against letting politics devolve into a killing field, advocating for resolving conflicts through democratic means rather than through violence. Highlighting the urgency of his message, Biden urged citizens to engage in respectful discourse and to express their differences through voting at the polls, not through acts of aggression. His call for unity was a direct response to the growing tide of political extremism and violence, which he warned could further inflame tensions as the nation approaches a high-stakes presidential election. The president's address echoed a broader concern among political leaders and experts about the potential for violence to escalate. House Speaker Mike Johnson, while echoing Biden's call for civility, noted the growing controversy surrounding inflammatory rhetoric from all sides. He stressed that such language should be scrutinized and addressed to prevent further escalation of hostilities. Future concerns. Experts worry that the recent attack could intensify political tensions, with predictions of both minor and severe acts of violence increasing in the coming months. Jacob Ware, a research fellow focused on domestic and international terrorism, noted the likelihood of continued and possibly escalating violence. He cautioned that once violence is seen as a valid way to address political disagreements, reversing this trend becomes extremely challenging. In this fraught environment, calls for a return to civility are a crucial reminder of the foundational values of American democracy. Such appeals emphasize the importance of recognizing our shared identity as Americans and treating each other with dignity and respect, despite differing viewpoints. As the nation confronts this troubling period, moving forward will depend on a collective commitment to peaceful dialogue and democratic processes. The broader implications of this incident are profound. It underscores the need for stringent measures to ensure that all potential threats are thoroughly vetted and addressed. The episode has also ignited a debate about the adequacy of current security measures for high-profile events and the effectiveness of communication between different security agencies. In the aftermath of the shooting, questions remain unanswered. Why did the Secret Service fail to act on the warnings about crooks? How could such a critical oversight occur in a high-stakes environment? And most importantly, what changes will be implemented to prevent such a lapse from happening again? What do you think can be done to prevent such a terrible attack from happening again? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.